Hey guys, welcome to day 25 of the Sparks Change Challenge. And tonight we've got a little bit of a later live stream, but because I decided that I wanted to, like I said, dive a little deeper into each of the domains, this is our last run through the safety, the physical health, the achievement, relationships, kindness, spontaneity. So we want to go a little bit deeper for these ones. So hence I'm on StreamYard again, and I'm going to share a couple of slides that I just made up for us, and I hope you find this interesting. So, physical health and body care, as I suspected, has maintained its tricky status for me throughout the course of this challenge. I have gotten to bed relatively on time or relatively early more nights this month than I have in the last probably 4 years. So I'm feeling very happy about that. And I'm trying to deal with that, that all or nothing mentality that's like, yeah, but you should be doing it every single night. I'm taking this as a win. It's happening more often now than it was before, and I'm pretty happy with that. But I thought we've talked a little bit about barriers to all of the different domains. And I thought it might be worth taking a deeper dive into some of the barriers when it comes to looking after our physical health and body care in particular. This is an area that I'm quite passionate about, not only for my own health issues and struggles with my body and with medications and side effects and all the rest of it, but for a lot of my clients as well. It's a very relevant area. And when I did my honours thesis in 2005, oh my God, that's nearly 20 years ago, I was looking at this concept called illness representations and what that had to tell us about chronic illness in particular, but illness in general, how people cope with it or don't cope with it, and how we can help them adjust to particularly a chronic illness diagnosis and help support them to do, medication adherence, or what's even usually more difficult, any lifestyle changes that need to come with it. And we talked about this a bit earlier in one of the other posts around achievement, not minimizing the achievement of, taking your medication, because even with people who are taking anti-rejection meds following transplant surgery, medication adherence is still only about 50-50, and lifestyle adherence is even lower. I can't remember the exact stats on that one anymore, but I think it's in the high 20s. And that's, for example, if they've had a kidney transplant, they might have to go on a low sodium diet. If they've had, or same with the heart transplant, and adherence to those types of lifestyle changes are actually even worse than the medication adherence. So this was my thesis. This was my baby. Quite fitting actually today for Wear It Purple Day. I did the purple nails and the purple shirt. I've got purple jeans on and purple boots and a purple thesis from nearly 20 years ago. Um, but this was looking at, can we use the illness representation model and people's representation of their illnesses to predict and improve medication and lifestyle adherence. And I did this with a dietitian in Sydney back in the day, and we found some really interesting things around what helps someone to adhere to medication or to lifestyle changes. And I couldn't help thinking that a lot of this actually applies to what we're talking about here with physical health and body care. One, because one of the biggest barriers to a lot of people for physical health and body care is chronic illness in the first place, but also because a lot of the barriers that are common in chronic illness are also common in people who maybe have that self-sacrificing tendency, or who have that unrelenting perfectionistic standards to uphold. And I felt like there was a little bit of overlap there. So let me share the slides that I came up with. So this was just the main barriers as I see them to prioritize and making physical health and body care a default response, an automatic action. And if I've left any of the big ones out, please do let me know. This is probably by no means a comprehensive list. These just struck me as kind of the big ticket items. So obviously, emotional baggage, guilt is a massive one. Guilt at prioritizing self, guilt at choosing to, go to the gym or go for a swim or go for a walk over, you know, playing a board game with one of the kids, or getting that last bit of work done, or whatever it might be. There's always going to be competing priorities, and if you struggle in the physical health and body care, this is often one that gets pushed to the wayside first. And we don't want to be doing that. We want to be increasing the chances that you're going to be able to make good decisions for physical health and body care. Fear of change, that all or nothing approach, like I said. Fear of failure, what if I actually start doing some of this stuff and it doesn't help? That's a big one for a lot of people. Again, if you've got that self-sacrificing tendency, you might find that people aren't used to you putting your needs first and saying, hey, I need to go to the gym, or whatever, I need to go for this walk. I had a client once who was trying to do that, and her partner kind of guilted her into, but the washing up isn't done yet. So how can you go for a walk if the washing up isn't done yet? I mean, my answer to that would be, well, you could do the washing up if you wanted to. But that was not something my client was capable of doing at that point. It was very much oh no, they're right. Well, I can't do something for me if there's still stuff left to be done in the house. Um, Another client really struggled because their partner wouldn't help look after the kids. Like, physically just getting out of the house to do something for herself was really tricky because she didn't have anyone to keep an eye on the young children. The partner didn't see it as a priority. So, if she was bleeding from the head and had to go to hospital, maybe they'd look after the kids. But otherwise, it was, well, it's you can't do that. Who's going to look after the kids? So, lack of practical support, fear of other people's reaction to the change, not just fear of change ourselves. That whole thing around um, people would rather deal with the certainty of misery than the misery of uncertainty. Very true here. Not sure of what's going to happen, how it's going to work. Is it going to be any help? Are other people going to get upset? What are other people's reaction going to be to this? Fear of getting funny looks when you are out for a walk. If there's body image issues. If you've got someone who's recovering from an eating disorder, there can be a lot of baggage when it comes to sensible body care, or healthy body care. Exercise can actually be quite a triggering activity for them. So many barriers and so many things to get in the way. And I wondered if the illness representation approach might have some solutions there. So see what you think. For those who are unfamiliar with it, and unless you're in health psychology, I don't think it's a particularly well-known theory or approach. But Leventhal posited that whenever there's, oh, the formatting went all funny on those. Oh well. Hopefully it makes enough sense. You can follow that, but apologies. So Leventhal posited that when we are confronted with a health choice, or with a health trigger, so that might be, if we're applying it to this physical health and body care stuff, that might be deciding to go for a massage. That might be deciding to go for a walk. That might be deciding to prioritize getting to bed at a reasonable hour over staying up and getting work done. But whatever that physical or body related trigger or event is, we immediately have a cognitive and an emotional response to that. So, and remember, I'm adapting this. So Leventhal's model is just talking about responses to illness, chronic or acute illness. I'm talking about it as just our response to our own physical health needs. And when we encounter that particular trigger or event, we have a perception of the event. So we have a perception, we have an idea in our head of what it means to go and get a massage. We have thoughts about that. Oh, that'd be a really nice thing to do. Oh, but it's a cost that I shouldn't really afford, or that I can't really afford right now. You know, that money, that time should be better used somewhere else. And we have feelings about it. In my case, booking a massage actually makes me feel slightly anxious sometimes because I've had to cancel so many times. When I'm having a flare, I can't get a massage because that just makes the flare worse. So oftentimes I've booked in a massage and then had to cancel, and I hate that. It makes me feel terrible. So I've noticed the last couple of times I've gone to book an appointment, that emotional response in me to this health related behavior is a little bit of anxiety of like, oh, I hope I don't have to cancel. I always feel really bad doing that. So the cognitive response, the emotional response, and that's influenced by our past experiences, like having to cancel a lot, social messages, things that other people have said to us about how indulgent getting a massage is, or that it's something that maybe your partner hates massages and thinks they're a waste of time, but you really enjoy them. So it's also going to be, there's going to be a disagreement there around the use of that time and money. So many things go into even just the thought of, hey, maybe I should go and get a massage. And then we have the second stage. So stage one, the health related trigger or activity. Stage two, how we cope with it. We either go full in, fine, I'm going to make this appointment, or we avoid it. Actually, no, never mind, I won't do it. I feel too bad, I feel too guilty, I can't do this, I don't deserve this, whatever it might be. But those cognitive and emotional messages tell us, yep, go for it, or no, get the hell away from it, don't do that. And then stage three is when we look back and go, well, how did that work? So I wanted to book a massage, but there was a clash with such and such. I didn't book the massage, and well, that was sensible in that particular time. That clash was unmovable and unavoidable, and something that I just had to do that time. Or I wish I hadn't done that. Why didn't I do that? Why am I such an idiot? Why can't I take better care of myself? So the appraisal, and again, that kindness and nurturance aspect comes into how we treat ourselves on our coping strategy. So whether we approached and went, hell yep, let's do it, whether we avoided, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. How many times have you said, yep, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go for a walk, and then the alarm goes and you're like, 10 more minutes, 20 more minutes, 30 more minutes. What worked, what didn't work? Did you approach, did you avoid, and how you feel about that? All of that then goes into the next time you have that health related trigger or activity come up, and again influences the perception of the event, the social messages, the cues, and all of that cognitive and emotional response that we have to the idea of getting the massage. So I could be massively overcomplicating this, but I don't think so. I think this actually this model has a lot to say, or a lot of useful things to say about how we approach physical health and body care. And I would love to get your feedback on that, if you think there's some use to be taken from that. Because if that's true, if that's what's going on, then like any other behavior change, like any other basic CBT stuff, if we can recognize the thoughts that are going on in relation to the health related activity, if we can recognize the emotional response and where that's coming from, then we have more options, we have more choice, we have a little bit more space between action and reaction to decide, yes, I want to approach this, I want to go through with this, or no, I don't want to do this right now, I'm not ready for this just yet. But it becomes more of a choice rather than a default action. So that's my illness representation model hijacked to look at just physical health and body care in general. I hope that that makes sense. I've been doing these videos for nearly a month now, and it's quite possible I am just overcomplicating everything and overthinking way too much. That's quite possible. But would love to hear if any of this made sense for you or resonated with you. And I look forward to seeing you next week when we'll do the deeper dive into achievement and accomplishment. I don't have a 20-year-old thesis to back that one up, but we'll see how we go. I'll see what I come up with over the weekend. Have a fabulous weekend and see you Monday. Bye. The mouse has disappeared as well. Let's try and end this. There we go. Okay.